We know what happens behind the scenes here, but that's for us, not for you. But moving forward now, Felabration is an annual festival of music and arts commemorating the life and times of the late Fela Anikulapo-Kuti, popularly known as Fela. It is also a month-long musical and lifestyle festival in honor of the legacies of Fela, the Afrobeat legendary musician. The 2022 Felabration, with the theme Fear Not for Man, kicked off with activities led by artwork competition, Afrobics, dance competition, and the fashion show competition. Over the years, Felabration has provided a platform to stardom for young creatives. And joining us in the studio to talk more on the essence of the festival is Fela's first child dancer, businesswoman, and media personality, Yeni Anikulapo-Kuti.
Power.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Yeah?
You're supposed to greet me like they greet me on your view. YK in the building.
YK power.
Yo.
YK power.
Obviously,
So what
Mr.
are you...
Sam doesn't watch us because
No,
he doesn't even know anything.
He doesn't know
I don't know
one.
that sort of it. So, boy, what are you thinking about Fela? Because instead when you just came in, I just was thinking about Fela. Say, Fela, you don't come again. I never come again. I see them far away. Where you they go? Where you they go? Don't ask me. So what are you thinking of Fela this morning?
What am I thinking?
Yes.
Well, you know, this month, this October month, Fela was born in October, and I decided to celebrate his birth and not his death. Because in Nigeria, we like to celebrate death. For me, death was a sad part of him, of our meeting.
Yes.
So I prefer to celebrate his birth and what he stood for. So what I'm thinking about is, the stress of Felabration. Oh. So, not Fela per se, but the stress that gosh.
Yeah, it has not been easy, you know.
It hasn't been easy.
Handling all of this over the years.
Yeah, you know, we were calculating it yesterday. We have done this festival for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, celebrating. We took a break for 2 or 3 years because Fela's been dead 25 years. So let's see, 4 years. We took a break, but intermittently. First started in 98. We took a break in 99. In 2000, we opened the shrine to commemorate Fela. Then another celebration in 2001, took a break 3 and 4, started again in 2005, and it hasn't ended. You know, we have just continued till date, and I thank
Your creator.
Yeah.
So how has it been, you know, the kind of support that you have been getting with regards to this? Young people, we know that you had the fashion show recently, the kind of support you
I wish you had come. Mike came. Mike was there. and it was nice, you know, because they were
I didn't know that Mike was a great Fela fan.
I didn't know.
Until he came for the fashion show. He was exposed.
Like Mike is dancing on the outside. Nobody can see him. He's dancing outside the...
Right. You were talking to us about the fashion show.
Yeah, the fashion show. They were to do 4 outfits. Fela of yesterday, Fela, how they would see Fela of yesterday, Fela of today.
And the future.
The future, and Fela if you were a woman.
I had a conversation with this SAN, Professor Ishesagi, on Fela. Was very close to Fela before he went abroad, before Ishesagi went abroad. At that time, Fela was not of Fela Anikulapo-Kuti. That many of us can't really understand.
Yes.
Well, Fela was a very charismatic person, you know, and, you know, when he spoke, I don't know, did Jenny, I know Veronica didn't meet him.
No. I met him a number of times, and even in his house. There was one day I can't say some of things you cannot say. You know, I met him in his house, he was busy in the room, and he came back and said, it doesn't not be now, still busy inside. You know that? you know, because he started, I mean, there was an instance where we started talking. I think it was a commemoration of his mother. Mother died, And he gathered the few of us. I think I was there, Femi Ojudu, Dele Momodu, Bayo Nonuga, I think Ohi Alegbe. We were there with him. I thought he had something to say. He said, no, this is not the time for beg. My mother, my political mother, and today with the marker. There was nothing, he didn't want anything to, he had much to say. But you could see that he had this strong connection with his mother that, that was so powerful. And then anytime you had conversation with him, it turned it into some kind of drama. Even when there was nothing, it made it into something. Yes.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, Fela was a very charismatic person. You know, you would be drawn to him. When he's talking, you would be drawn to him, you would listen to him. And he always had intelligent things to say and things that resonated with you as a human being, as a black person. Being Fela's daughter, well, it's not just because I was Fela's daughter, but because he made me proud to be African. He made me proud to be black. He made me, so like when I go abroad, for instance, I will always portray Africa. I will wear my African clothes, It's because I want to show and show you that who I am. I'm proud of who I am. So, and that was being his daughter, being so close to him, being one of the people that
intimate
touched.
with, yes. Now, that's what I want to know. People always know the public persona of Fela, the braggadocio, the tough-talking, defiant man. How was he to you as a father? Where's that tender part? Fela never showed any tender part. Everything was a roar. Everything was an attack. And how was he? How was he at the moment? When you sat to eat, when he was giving you advice, what kind of advice would Fela give you?
Let me just say this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think Fela should have been a biological father. I think, Fela was more of everybody was Fela's child. So because you were his child, you didn't get any special treatment. There was nothing like that. So Fela was father to everybody. So
did you seek him? Did you seek that? Did you miss that? Did you bring that to his attention?
You don't miss what you don't have.
No, did you try to?
Okay, I'll give you an example.
See it in other people that you say?
So we to get daddy. If you call me daddy, no pocket money for you. They won't tell you your head will reset quickly because you want your pocket money. So, so very early on in life, I didn't call him. I've never called my father daddy. It's always been Fela, that's why I think even though he was nice and he was lovely to us, I don't think he should have been a biological father. I think he should have been just everybody's father the way he was.
Did you get the kind of paternity from his own brothers? People like, especially Beck, who was very close to him.
No.
Value to this that you cannot buy with money. There was a conversation. If you watch the film of the Williams sisters, there was a conversation like that between the father and some of these hawks who wanted to cut a deal with Venus, and they threw some money down, and he rejected it. It looked like big money. They said, no, we're not going to accept this. You can't sell my daughter short. And then there was one scene with some white men who were eating with him, and they actually farted before he left, just for emphasis. They said nonsense. And, that is the kind of, when you know that this is your worth, and there is a meaning to art other than just money. There is a meaning that you cannot really count or count in terms of cash.
Absolutely.
That Fela knew that life was about value. And that's one of the things many people need to learn from Fela's life.
How are you able to cascade that value to the next generation? Because we see Anikulapo-Kuti also towing this path.
I'm very proud of Made. I have to say that because Made is one young man who has just, I can't understand. He just imbibed this character. He's so honest. He's so, and I'm not saying it because he's my nephew, because sometimes I just look at him and think, wow, Made, you're just not who I would have expected you to be. He's without guile. He's just him, you know. So I know that his generation, at least, he will pass on, and I'm just very proud to be who I am and that I was born into this family, because the legacy that has been is continuing.
Yes, it's been sustained.
Yes, it's been sustained. Thank you. That's the right word to use. And I just hope, you know, that future generations continue, because we have a limited time on earth. The younger ones will take over. Even if we retire, we'll still be watching from the...
You haven't really retired, you know. We still see the moves in you sometimes. How was it like dancing for your father?
I didn't dance for my father.
Really?
Only my brother.
Your brother, okay.
Yeah.
How was it like dancing for your father?
I didn't dance for my father.
Really?
Only my brother.
Your brother, okay.
Yeah. I couldn't dance for my father. Eh? Politics with all his wives. Just leave
Yes,
them.
yes. Tell us about his wives.
You like gossip?
Tell us what nobody has heard about Fela and his wives. That I have not heard.
That one is the
You
whole
have heard
show.
a lot.
That one is the whole show. I will take the whole show to tell you about Fela and
Just
his
give
wives.
us a little sneak peek.
There was always competition. Who was going into the room? Who were his favorites? You know.
Did he have a favorite?
There were like 3 or 4 that went in every 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, because Fela had real sleep.
At 3 days.
And Ben
There's
sleep.
actually a short story called At 3 Days, where everybody, the wives of Semben Usman, a short story he wrote, where the wives will take turns, and everybody will have their own 3 days with the man. So Fela had her own 3 days.
No, it was
days.
No, it was not. They would not stay with him for 3 days.
3 days,
though.
okay.
Let's say Veronica was one. Sorry, husband. Let's say Veronica was a favorite now, and then you were another favorite.
No, I'm a man, no.
Let's say you were a woman.
For instance.
No, just for clarity.
Yeah. All right.
Or maybe you were not even a favorite. You were every week. So Veronica will go with him into the room today, and then she will go. Today is Thursday, so she will go again on Saturday. And then again on Tuesday or Monday, you know. So then the other one was every week. Maybe that one was every Saturday. You will be every Saturday. So you know that Saturday is your day, and it's not for the whole day. It's like 3 or 4 hours. Another one will come in, you know.
So how is it that didn't affect the relationship amongst the children? Because we see there's some level of bonding amongst the children.
It wasn't our business now. Are we the ones sleeping with him?
No, not necessarily, because we see that some persons who have perhaps 3 wives, the children are not friends, or they don't even have that bond amidst themselves.
Well, I guess we grew past that. You know, remember that I am much older than I'm 62, almost 61, to next year. Femi is 60, and then my late sister Sola, she would have, if she was alive, she would have been 59. So we were the first 3. Then comes Kunle. The age gap between Kunle and I is 10 years. He's 51. You know. Then there's Shalewa. She's in her late 40s. She's not 50 yet. She's late 40s. After Shalewa is Shin and Motu. Motu is 30. She's in her early 30s.
All right.
And no. Shin is going to be 40. So that Shin and Motu are going to be 40 next year. So there's a wide gap. There's 21 years, 20 years, 21 years between Shin and I. So we are more like the mother and father figure. You know. So that how will you clash? You know, did you ever experience Fela in the moment of inspiration? Moment of
inspiration.
Yes. When Fela was inspired, he would just sit down and be staring into space like that.
I have a story like that.
You will come and meet him, you will talk to him, he will not hear you. Because I will say this story. When we were younger, my grandmother, my father's mother, took us to Abeokuta, and we stayed there for a while, and we really hated it there. So I got ill, and she had to bring me back to Lagos. And when I go back to the house, my mother wasn't in, my grandmother wasn't in, my maternal grandmother, it was only Fela. So I went to him, and Fela was composing, obviously, because only his mouth would move. His eyes would just be staring. So when I said, Fela, he didn't hear me. Fela, he didn't hear me. Fela, he didn't hear me. I said, hey, my grandmother will soon come and take me back to
It was in the spirit.
It was,
in a trance.
He was in a trance. And he didn't smoke or drink in those days, so it was just a natural trance, you know. And I just started thinking, where am I going to hide if Granny comes for me? I went to his room. I looked for my grandma. I said, then I was thinking, because we'd been away for so long, has my mother gone back to England? Where had they? I was really like, and then I just came again and I said, Fela, Yeni, hug me. You know, oh, your mommy and nanny have gone shopping. We're going to come to Abeokuta to pick you up. You know, but for those few minutes, he didn't know I was there.
I had when he sang the Shakara, that the story where he was making a move on a young girl. And the girl was trying to touch her. He said, not touch me, not touch me. So Fela was just staring into space for a long time. And everybody, what was going on with Fela was just there. Suddenly he said, Shakara olo Yeni. That's how I started. That's how I started that sentence. So that's why I said, not touch me. I said, na Shakara. You know that. So I think that's how, and he got another one too. He got from Chudi when he was saying that everything second tier, everything don't tear to pieces. You go for there 5 kobo. You go for there 3 kobo. You go for there. Say na second tier everything, because the guy said that he started hiding money in different parts of his house. Hiding money in different parts of his house because of second tier. Second tier was actually a policy, an economic policy during the Babangida regime, where people were supposed to start. No, I'm talking about viewers who don't know what second tier. You know that.
Yeah, so Fela was he did that. Even Palava. You know, landlord.
You define.
The landlord.
You go get you.
Tenant lost in job.
Lost in job.
I think we have to make that a Felabration thing one day. Trouble sleep.
Trouble sleep. Yes.
Yangango wake up. Maybe that will be our thing for next year. You have given me inspiration.
An inspiration.
Yes.
Interesting. Let's imagine Fela was alive at this time. What do you think his reaction would be to the situation in the country? Because those kind of featured in some of the songs he sang.
I really think that Fela was very disillusioned when he died, because things were happening in the country that he had been singing about, and nobody was really listening. You know, nobody was really listening, voting for people they shouldn't vote for. He had told you that this person is like this, and you will still go and vote for him. So at that time, he was a very disillusioned person, I believe, you know. I think if he had been alive, he would be in despair, because the way the politics and the political system has gone, it's not the way he would have seen it at all. It's not the way he would have seen it, and he probably have been very, very depressed. So he will probably be singing. If you remember one song he sang, "Look and Laugh," you know, that showed his despair at that time, and that was even long before the political dispensation.
Right.
But at the fashion show, I really missed him, because when those young kids were coming out with their fashion, I was like blown away, and I was like, where is Fela? Why can't he see what they thought the future of Fela was just amazing.
Thank you for staying with us. We've been discussing Felabration, and we have YK Power still with us in the studio. Just give us details of Felabration, the lineup of activities, who we should even expect for all of these activities.
Well, I can't tell you who you should expect because I'm not in charge of the artists list. But a lot of the artists support us and they come for Felabration. So we've already had the dance competition. The first prize was 1 million, and the dancers were, I hate to use that word, amazing. They were amazing, honestly. They practiced and they danced to the theme, Fear Not for Man. Then we've had the art competition. That was also, gosh, the artists. You know, we have talent in this country.
Absolutely.
Real talent. And yesterday was the school's debate. I missed that because I had to go and see the governor. And you know, when governor says, come and see me, if you don't go at that time, you won't get another appointment.
Opportunity, yeah.
So we rushed them, we were there. And the governor has been very supportive. He has promised to come on the last day, you know, which is going to be really nice, you know, to see him at Felabration. I wonder how he's going to integrate with the crowd.
The Lagos State Governor, of course, trust him to do that.
But you know, what concerns me about Fela is the fact that his music was also a statement. It was not like Shakespeare, was in his 12th night, he said, if music be the food of love, play off, give me excess of it, that suffocating the appetite, me seeking and so die. That's strain again, that the dying for, oh, it came over my ear like a sweet sound that breathes upon the bank of violet. Okay. Go on and on and on. But it's not, if music be the food of war, play on. I've come to bury the government, not to save it. Do we have that? Do we miss that kind of social conscience in Nigerian music?
You need to answer that in a few seconds because we have to wrap this up now. Quickly.
Okay. I don't know about the music of today, but I think they will develop, or I hope that they will develop into, because things can be happening to you every day and then you will not talk about it or think about it.
But they're still bugaing and they're still...
that's what the generation understands.
That's what, you see, I think it's just their own escapism. It's just their way of, I don't want to think about my suffering. Let me just enjoy.
It's denial.
Right.
They don't want to face and confront their problems.
We can continue this conversation, but time is not on our side. We must thank you, YK Power, Yeni, Anikulapo-Kuti, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So let me say to YK Power.
Yo!